So hopefully these are not new to you. These are kind of our district goals, our big four, our big three, really looking at how do we maximize learning. So we are going to focus today on kind of this prepping the learning environment. This is not a session geared for teachers, so it's not geared for classrooms. This is more how to help yourself in your day-to-day tasks, but just so you can kind of see where we're focusing. We're on prepping the learning environment. And then in terms of our 5 professional development priorities in the Department of Innovation and Learner Engagement, pretty much all I focus on, all of my trainings are foundational digital tools. Some of them are geared more towards science and more towards classroom use. Some are more like this professional practice, like they're good for anybody. But pretty much everything I do is this kind of building those essential skills and getting you essential resources to help make your day-to-day life just a bit easier. We are focusing on ISTE standards this year. So for this session, the 2 that we're really going to hit on are your learner and your leader. So learning, we're pursuing professional interests, I hope, by creating kind of a local learning network. You're here to learn and improve your practice. You're doing that with a group of people. And then your leader, my guess is that if someone were to come to you at your school, you could be like, oh yeah, I know how to adjust that in Gmail, or I know how to adjust that in Calendar. So you may be putting on a little bit of a leader hat, just if any of your colleagues have questions. So for today, really leaning into that learner and maybe potentially leader after today. All right, I will be a happy lady if you walk away today, hopefully with kind of a new tool to support your day-to-day tasks, or using a tool in a different way. And then really to kind of streamline and enhance productivity. If I can help cut a couple minutes off your daily tasks, that would be amazing. So this is what I'm gonna try to get you guys to. Learn something new, hopefully, and then learn how to make these tools kind of work for you. We're gonna start in Calendar. And if you have the little checklist, if you wanted to print that out, we're gonna start looking at settings. So we're gonna look at event settings, notifications, work hours, all this stuff. And then when we jump actually into like the calendar piece of Google Calendar, how to create an event, appointment schedules, adjust a few things. I am a fan of showing you things live so you can do it with me. There are a bajillion screenshots that say like, click here, you can do this here. So I'm gonna probably do some live demo, some flip through the slides to make sure I hit everything. Please, if I'm going too fast or you're like, wait, how'd you get there? Please let me know. If you are play around with me, experience it, click it as I talk about it, please open a second tab, split your screens, like do what you need to do, play around. If you're like, yeah, Jessie, that's not gonna work, listen, take notes, be comfy, whatever works best for you. But I'm gonna try to model live as much as I can for you guys. With that, I'm gonna head over to my calendar and you'll see my hot mess of stuff. I wanna start in settings. So if you're here looking at your calendar, what you're gonna do is you're gonna click on the little cogwheel and then you're gonna click into settings. And every time it will default you here to kind of the general settings. I believe all of this is personal preference. So this is how you like your calendar set up. If you adjust things, it doesn't affect it for anybody else. So you'll see kind of basics at the top, language and region. You'll see time zone. If you are on vacation and you take your computer or you log into your work account, it will ask you if you want it to update to like your current location time zone. Again, personal preference, if you want it to. Do you want to see a world clock? Event settings. Okay, so every time you go to create an event, how long do you want it to be? Do you normally set 1-hour meetings? Do you normally set 30-minute meetings? Is it 15-minute check-in? What's kind of your standard go-to? That way you're having to click less buttons less often. If you know, I pretty much always set 1-hour meetings. I would highly recommend click this one. And then in the rare case, you're setting something that's only a half hour, you just adjust that one. Again, you can adjust guest permissions, add invitations, just to kind of make that a little bit easier as you're going through and making events. You don't have to change everything for every single event. For notifications, how do you want to be notified? And then a little bit farther down, there's like, when do you want to get notified? So I like having things pop up on my desktop because it helps me remember, oh yeah, don't forget, I need to do this. And then if I've snoozed a notification, like for example, every morning in second period, we have announcements play. And so it reminds me like 5 minutes early and 30 minutes early, I think is what I have it set to. Don't forget announcements, and it like pops up bottom right corner of my screen, and I can close it or I can snooze it. If I snooze it, it's like, hey, Jessie, don't forget, you have that thing in a minute. Like, oh yeah. And I can quick sign in. If I have my sound turned on, I can hear notification sounds. It chimes at me. So again, adjust to your preference. You can get desktop or alerts, or you can have nothing. For view options, what do you want your calendar to look like? I'm trying to get better and not taking work home. So I don't want to see weekends on my calendar. I don't work on the weekends unless it's like extra. So I have weekends turned off. I do want to see events that I've said no to though, just out of curiosity. Oh yeah, that was going on today. Oh, maybe I should check in. If I've completed a task, show it there, week numbers, cool. Just reduce the brightness so I know, okay, that's already happened, that's coming up. And then if I had day by day, if I had day view, show calendar side by side. I saw in here, we have did you say you were assistant principal secretary? Yes. If you are responsible for your calendar and their calendar, this might be really helpful for you. So you can look at what's going on today and you can see both of your guys' calendars side by side. That might be really helpful for you. So again, what do you want your calendar to look like? Events, do you want them to add automatically? If it's something from Gmail, I'm all for automation and help me out. So yes, please. And then do you want to set working hours? So now that I'm a teacher, I don't use this as often, but a few years ago, I worked at the district office full-time with this team that I'm with part-time right now. And people would try to set meetings like at 4:30 or at 4 o'clock. When I was there, I stopped work at 3:30. And so I adjusted my hours. That way, if people tried to set meetings outside of my work time, it would tell them like, this is outside her working hours. So it's just kind of a nice way for you to let other people know without having to tell them all the time, oh, I'm sorry, I'm off at 3:30. So if you are interested, you can go ahead and adjust those. And then you can tell it too, like, I'm in the office, I'm at home. Oh, I'm at a different office. I'm somewhere else. So if you split work sites, you can let people know like on Monday, I'm at this school and then Tuesday I'm here. So it's kind of this piece just to adjust when and where you work. There's some keyboard shortcuts if you're interested. And then did you want it to show up offline? Okay. What I want to make sure I go over with you guys. We did all of that. I want to go in and look at, I don't think I did appointment schedules yet. No, where are my appointment schedules? Weird. Okay. What I want to go to next is your specific calendar. So these are general settings. What I'd like you to do if you're playing along is scroll down and go to your calendar. So mine, I just have it named Jessie Robotic because that's me. And then I want to go down and I want to show you something that I think will make life easier. I use it quite often in my teaching role and previously. Access permissions for events. So I do not have my calendar publicly available, but I do have my calendar available for anyone with an RUSD account for them to see when I am free or busy. When I was not in a classroom, there was a lot of times like, hey, we need to get together. When are you free? And they're like, oh, I don't know. Tuesday at 12:30 or, oh, I think maybe Thursday at whatever. If yours is set like this and I were to go start and create an event with you, it would show me grayed out times. They're not free to meet right here. Oh, but there's nothing here. You can meet here. So nobody can see what I'm doing. They can just see, am I free or busy? But notice it says hide details. So if you are interested, I highly recommend let people see this. That way, if they're trying to meet with you, they can kind of see when is a good time, when is not a good time. And then if you want calendar information to show up in other Google things like Gmail or tasks or Keep, things like that, you can do that here too. Again, I'm all for if you can help me shave a few minutes off my day, please talk to other things. And then here, if you want to share with specific people, so especially my AP secretary, if like you would need your person to share their calendar with you. So if you wanted like me and my teacher buddy, I think I saw you pop on here, Tori. If I wanted Tori to be able to see my calendar, I can let her see free and busy, which right now she can already see that because it's open to all of our USD. Do I want her to see everything? Oh, I'm in an SST this day. I'm off campus for training that day. Do I want her to make changes to events? Or do I want her to make changes and manage sharing? So this one we used to give to our boss. That way they could adjust everything. Hey, I need you to pop in over here. Okay, great. I see that's on my calendar. I would use that one carefully. But you do have options for if you need to give individual people different access than what you're going to give the whole district. So that's an option. And then your personal calendar, how often do you want to get notified? I like a reminder 30 minutes in advance and then 5 minutes in advance. Oh, I forgot. Okay, that's in 5 minutes. I better go right now. And then if you have something set for all day, how far ahead do you want to be notified? So I tell my calendar, remind me at 11:30 the day before, because then I have the whole rest of the day to either prepare or, oh yeah, don't forget I have to arrange carpool or, whatever it may be. I want a lot of heads up. And then there's just some additional information down below. Integrating calendar, honestly, I've never used it. If you are really techie, there's things you can do to get your calendar to show up in other places. but I've never done that. And then if you wanted to delete your calendar for whatever reason, that's all the way at the bottom. Okay. All right, I am going to pause because if I remember correctly, that's the end of that first little calendar settings piece. Yes, because now we're going into creating events. So I'm going to pause, see if you guys have any questions, concerns, unmute, pop into chat, anything I can help with at this point. Okay, I'm going to test something really quickly. Tori, if you're here, I'm borrowing you. I hope that's okay. So I'm going to add Tori, and I'm going to see if it does this with me. So notice right here, I can't see her calendar. If I was able to see it, it would give me times that would work. However, that's when I'm saying that might be helpful because Google is like really creepy and really smart, and it can tell you, hey, this time should work for everybody. So if you ever see that little star, it just means you don't have access to view their calendar. But if you do have access to theirs, maybe, I wonder if I have access. No, I probably don't have hers. Do I have hers? So I can actually see what's going on. So notice these gray lines right here. Like she's busy, something is not working. And this down here is like outside of work hours. Oh, this must be her lunch break. She's off right here because that's her lunch. But we used to work together, so I can see all her stuff. So just if you're wondering, should I share my calendar? Should I not? It can make it easier to find times to meet with people if you are interested. All right. I didn't see or hear any questions, so I'm going to keep on moving, and we're going to go look at creating events. So still living in calendar. If you wanted to create an event, there's a few different ways you can do it. You can just click on day and time that you want it to happen, and it'll pop up this kind of quick version. And these are going to be whatever you set to your default. So I have defaults 1 hour, and then I don't have anything else for now. I don't have speedy meetings, which means it would end at 5 minutes early because I need like time to walk to my next meeting. But if I wanted to get a little more detailed, I would click more options. Okay, for now, I'm going to get rid of this. The other thing I can do is I can say create. And then from here, I can be really specific. Do I want to make an event, focus time, tell people I'm out of the office, change my location, etc. So this one, if you click directly into the calendar, it usually goes straight to event, but then you can always change it. Or if you're like, no, I know I want to just make this one, great, and it will take you straight there. Okay. Normally, this is the way I do it. I just click. And then here I can see kind of basic information. So what's the name of my event? When is it happening? And you can always adjust this if you're like, no, that's not right. You can set it to repeat if you want. You can add people. You can add a Google Meet link, which is how I did this today. You can tell people where we're meeting, descriptions, give them documents like to look at. And then if you wanted those additional options, go to more options. You can adjust notifications individually for this one event. You can add guests here. You can let them modify the event, invite others, see the list. If you wanted to adjust colors so it stands out a little bit more. Okay. If you want to adjust kind of what does it look like, and then you can save. So I want you to notice, okay, you can sort of see right here where it says name. This is the event I just created. Notice it's blue on the left-hand side. That blue tells me it belongs in my Jessie calendar, but the orange is the color I just asked it to show up. So if you look over here on the left at my calendars, Jessie is in blue. Notice this gray one down here, assignment, Cami something something. That is going to be from one of these calendars. So notice how this is the black calendar. This is our ILE classroom. This was something that was due yesterday for them. So the colors tell you a couple things. What calendar does it belong to? And then the colors to the right-hand side are, did I assign it a special color? So just a heads up, if you're seeing that little blue stripe, it's because it tells you it's in my calendar. All right, that was creating an event. All right, adding meeting notes. So here, what I did is I added notes already. So if I know ahead of time, okay, I want to have notes for this, maybe it's a team meeting or whatever, and I want to have a place for us to just write notes, I can set this up ahead of time. The way I would do that is I would go into creating my event, and I would say more options, and then I would scroll down and I would say create meeting notes. I didn't have to do anything except blah, 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 create my event, save. And then when I click into this miscellaneous event, there's a notes document already created. They all look pretty much the same. They have the date, the name of the event, and then if there's somebody in it, it'll tell me who was there. And then it has always a notes section, attendee section that you can edit, a notes section, and action items. These are fully editable. If you're like, yeah, we're not talking about that, you can get rid of it. And everybody in the invite will have access to this. If you've already made an event and you're like, dang, I need notes for that, what am I going to do? Notice I have a test event, no notes created. You can go here and you can click take meeting notes and it will start a new document for you. The same as before with the date, the calendar, all of that stuff. So 2 ways if you wanted to add meeting notes. If you know ahead of time, this is something I'm going to need, you can do it right from the calendar invite creation process. If you're like, oh, dang, I forgot I needed that, click on the event and then, oh, that's not mine. Sorry. That's also not mine. This is mine. Take meeting notes. You'll notice if I'm clicking on an event that I don't own, I don't see that button right away. So that would be something that the organizer would have to do. Like I can always add notes and I can share kind of the old fashioned way. But if it's not my calendar event, I don't have that option because I don't own it. So just a heads up, I thought I would point that out for you guys. If you own it, you can create meeting notes and it will get shared out. If you don't own it, that option is not there. All right, if you wanted to create a new calendar, we did all of that. Appointment schedule we'll come back to in just a moment. If you wanted to make a calendar, so let's say you're put on a new team or you just need a special place to kind of house thoughts, what you're going to do is you're going to come down here to other calendars, click the plus sign, and then create new calendar. You can name it whatever you want. You can give it a description, and then you can create. So I'm just going to say test calendar for training, blah, blah, blah. Create. Okay, so test calendar successfully created, configure. Now you get the same options as with my Jessie calendar. So you own this, this is yours. You can go in and you can say, who am I sharing this with? So if this is you and your PLC group, maybe add people, let them all make changes, manage sharing, etc. They can add to it just like you can. So if you ever feel like things are getting too messy and you need a separate kind of calendar, the only thing I wanted to point out there is they're going to live on the same, I say physical, but it's online, the same physical calendar. What I mean by that is if I create an event, but right here, instead of being in the Jessie calendar, I tell it, no, this is going to be in my test calendar. You'll notice the color is different, but it lives in the same space as my other stuff. So this is Google Calendar, all this that you see right here. These down here are your calendars that show up in Calendar. So all this is Google Calendar. These are your individual calendars. So now I don't want this anymore. That was just for demo. So I'm going to go all the way into settings and I'm going to scroll all the way down, say delete. Okay, you're about to permanently delete this for everybody. Are you sure? Yes, permanently delete. I'm the only person that's looking at it right now. So get rid of it, please. And then if I head back to my calendar, that event should be gone. So it erases like everything that was there. So just be cautious when you're deleting stuff. If you're finding this is too messy and you're like, oh yeah, no, I can't right now. What you can do is 3 dots and then hide. That way it's not deleted. It just doesn't show in your list over here. Oops, didn't mean to click that. My apologies. All right, appointment slots. If you are meeting maybe for parent-teacher conferences or meeting with students or, checking in with people, it can be easier to give them what's called appointment slots. What you do is you go create appointment schedule, and then you have a bunch of options. So I'm going to call this test appointments. How long do you want these appointments to last? I think the shortest you can do is 15 minutes. General availability. Okay, so when do I want to do this? When COVID was like big time scary, we were working at home and I was with this department. We offered office hours like every day. And we had to say, okay, I'm free these hours on this day, but these hours on this day. So you can adjust this. Like, no, I'm not available till 5 on Monday. Sorry, I'm only available till 11. Tuesday, I'm only available from 2 to whatever. So you can adjust this, or you can say, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not available on Friday. Like, that's just not an option. Take that off, please. And then you can be really picky. How far in advance can people schedule a meeting with you? And how close to the meeting do you want them to be able to schedule it? So I would set this for at least a couple hours because you don't want someone to set a meeting 30 minutes ahead of time and you're in the middle of lunch or you're driving or whatever. So just be cautious if you're going to set these. How far out do you want it? And then how close to the appointment do you want it to be able to be booked? And then if you need to adjust, like, oh, this Tuesday I have a doctor's appointment, I'm only free at whatever, you can adjust those specifics as well. Would you like there to be buffer time? So in between appointment slots, do you need drive time? Do you need time to collect resources? What do you need? And then you'll notice when I did that, if you're looking over here at this calendar, there's still 15-minute slots, but those 15-minute slots have a 30-minute window in between them. So if I take this off, notice they're back to back, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15. So there is no break. If I say, yes, I do need buffer time, now it gives me 30 minutes built in between every single appointment option. Calendars, again, like where do I want this to live? Is this some special calendar I'm using? And then co-hosts. Is somebody else going to be in there with me? So you can have additional people be on these appointment schedules with you. When you are ready, click next. And then this is what kind of people are going to see. So what's it going to look like? This is how I'm going to show it to people. Where is there like a default location? We're always going to meet in person, phone call, Google Meet. There isn't a set one. We're going to have to figure that part out later. What do you want it to say? And then how are they going to book it with you? So right now it just asks for first name, last name, email, but you can add other things if you wanted. And then confirmation and reminders. Do you want it to send them a calendar? Do you want it to send them an email? How far in advance? And then I'm going to hit save. And now here's what you would do. If you wanted to send this out to people, this is what it would look like when they click on your link. And you could see, oh, I can schedule these times right here. I'm free on Tuesday and these days, right? Like it gives you all of them and it should give you 2 months out at a time, but it should not give you past that because I said only for 60 days. And then if, it'll be too late in the day now, but I would say if we're looking at today, there should not be anything because I told it, give me 4 hours at least of buffer time before the next appointment. So the next one you can schedule is Thursday at 12. If you wanted to share this, here's a shareable link, or you can embed it on a website. And then this is what it would look like. You would just copy that link, paste this in your email, and then when people clicked on it, it would take them to this page. All right, let me double check. I feel like that was, oh no, calendar views. Last one, I think. Okay, calendar view. If you wanted to see your calendar in a different way, you can go up here to the top right corner where it says week, and you can say, I just want to see today. What does today look like? Oops, sorry, that's tomorrow. What does today look like? So notice all this stuff that's in light blue and pink and whatever, that's already happened. That's done, that's gone. I can look at a week at a time. That's usually how I keep it, just so I can kind of see what's coming up. Do you want to see the whole month? You just need to see at a glance what's going on. Do you want to see okay, not much detail there. So just use it wisely. It doesn't really show you a whole lot. Do you want to see your schedule? Like kind of if you just wrote things out bullet point. And then do you want to see the next 5 days? I don't use this one very often because I don't care about weekends in terms of like my workday. So usually I just say, I want to see the week. Everything that's already happened is that kind of grayed out version. Everything that's coming up or it's current is that dark version. Okay, that should be the end of calendar. Gmail. I'm going to assume we use it all the time. Okay, just to try to show you a few things. If you are ever like, oh my gosh, I need to find that thing, you can search in your Gmail. So if I go to my very scary inbox, please don't judge me. You can search, even if you don't know exactly what to search, but you know who it's from. You can search only messages from this person. Okay, so it tells me all the things that are directly from her. You can, it has these words. Oh, it's been in the last 2 months. Go. So I only want from this person last 2 months. So it'll help you narrow down even if you don't know exactly what to search for. Okay. When we're looking at kind of managing emails, this is something I'm still perfecting, I guess is the best word. I'm attempting this year to get better at using labels. So I'm going to walk you through kind of how you would do that. So if I saw, okay, I'm just going to use this as a sample. This I'm going to say is AHS info. Okay. I want to put this with this label. I can physically move it like this, and now it moves into that location, but it's taken out of my inbox. So if I want to just label it, but it stays here, I can click on this little shortcut right here. Oh no, sorry, this one right here, where it says labels. And I can say, all right, I want this to be labeled AHS info. Oh, but you know what? This is also standards-based grading stuff. So I'm going to go down and I'm going to pick both standards-based grading and AHS info. So I'm going to hit apply. It doesn't take it out of my inbox. It just says it's been added here. So if I go click into AHS info, I can see that there's this LS25 assessment. It is also labeled inbox. So that's kind of where it lives. And it's also labeled standard-based grading. So if I go to standards-based grading, it's here. It's in my inbox. It's also labeled AHS info. So it's not that you're moving it necessarily, because if I go down, so I'm still in my inbox, it's right here. I didn't physically move it out like I did some of these other ones, but you can see kind of how it's labeled. So if your brain just needs like I need to see where these things are. I need to have all of my, like I did all my special ed and all my health stuff into one. So I'm not going to open that folder, but I moved them over. Everything that I've gotten about students is kind of lumped into one place. So I don't have to go search for things. I can just go right there and I can look for it. And then if you wanted to, let's say, adjust this a little bit more, I want to go back into labels, but I'm going to create a new label for this one. And I'm going to say this is specifically assessments bio. And because this is standards-based grading, I wanted it to live in like assessments for bio, but that's part of standards-based grading. I could tell it, please live here and then create. And then when I go look at it under standards-based grading, now I have a section for assessments. That's the only thing in there because I just made it right now. So if you need a little more organization, this is maybe something that will help you. If you were here in the district in like Outlook days, this is a little more what you're used to seeing. I'll see you tomorrow. So you can adjust it to where it kind of looks the way you want it to look. So in terms of managing emails, creating labels, this is how you would do it. I'm going to check and see if I missed anything in this kind of managing. If you guys have questions, comments, pop them in chat, unmute, let me know, please. All right, I'm not hearing or seeing anything. So what we're going to do next is Gmail settings. Okay, so that's kind of the organize, right, where to put stuff. I'm going to head into settings, and you'll notice it brings up quick settings. Google tries to give you things that are really helpful quickly and easily. You have immediately chat and meet, which we'll talk about in a second. So if you wanted to customize it, you could do that here. But then you can also change the way it's viewed. So default settings, comfortable, it spaces out a little, which mine you can't really tell. Compact, though, you can see a difference. So compact, it kind of smushes everything together. If you're like, yeah, no, sorry, I want that a little more spread out, you can have here. Again, this is all personal preference. Do you want it to look beautiful? Do you want it to look, in my head, like normal? What do you want it to look like? And if you're like, no, that's not enough options, view all. There's a ton of things out there. And then how do you want your inbox set up? So I like mine to be everything that's unread at the beginning. I know, like, okay, Jessie, these are things you need to handle. You have not looked at these yet. Then my next section I have is starred. These are important. You probably will need to come back to these in a bit. So keep them here, easy reference. And then there's everything else. So all of my like read messages, everything that's there. I try not to delete things. If I need stuff cleared out, I try to archive. The reason I do that is because if I'm ever like, dang, that one email from 3 years ago, and I go down here and I click on more and all mail, it will show me everything except trash. Trash is deleted, I think, every 30 days. So I try to archive things just as a side note, just in case there's like, oh, do you remember that one thing from such and such long ago? No, but also I don't need to see it right away in all of my business. And I want all my unread things kind of focused so they're not getting pushed back because it was unread yesterday. So that's, again, just personal preference. Please feel free to mess with it, adjust it how you like. And then reading pane. So when I open an email, I read it over here on the right. If you don't like it that way, you can have it go below. If you don't want that at all, it will just open like in that space. So if I were to click on this, it just opens right there in that space. And then I go back. So I like it over here. But again, personal, how do you want it set up? That's all for you. When we're looking at the rest of our settings. So these are quick settings. I encourage you to click into see all because it will give you much more information. There is one thing. If this is the one thing you do today, I would highly recommend open Gmail, click on the settings wheel, click on all settings. I think is what it was called. Settings wheel, see all settings. Google has this beautiful thing where you're able to recall a message. I believe the default is set to 5 seconds. I don't know about you, but especially at the end of my workday, my brain needs longer than 5 seconds to process. Like, oh, I said, look at this picture. It's so cute. It's my kid. And then I sent it to my boss, whatever. You're like, oh, wait, I didn't mean to send that. That was supposed to be to whatever. Or, could you please take a look at this? And then there's supposed to be an attachment. Google's getting really smart. And it's like, it sounds like there's an attachment, but you're missing something. Do you want to fix it? But on the rare cases, it doesn't catch it. And you're thinking after you hit send, oh my gosh, I didn't put the link in there. You can undo. So if this is the one thing you do today, this is what I would do. Test email. Hi. And then I hit send. Okay. Black box. Message sent. Do I want to undo or do I want to view the message? This box will live here for 30 seconds because that's how long I have it set for. And I'm like, oh, wait, crud. I didn't mean to send that. It brings it back and it puts it into my draft. And she never saw this email. While it said, yeah, it sent to her, it didn't actually send to her yet. It gave me 30 seconds to think. So if that is the only thing you do today, I hope you go into see all settings and you adjust cancellation period to 30 seconds. I love that option. I use it more than I would like to admit. So please, 30 seconds. Yes. Woo. Okay, good. I got someone. All right. Default reply behavior. Your colleagues will love you if you make sure this says reply and not reply all. I imagine we've all seen or heard of the email changes like, please stop replying all. But they said that when they're replying all. So default reply. You have an option to hit reply all if you'd like it, but it's not your default button. And then again, the rest of this is all kind of personal preference. What do you want your emails to look like? Do you want to show pictures? Do you want creepy, awesome, smart Google to help you with grammar and spelling and autocorrect and smart compose? And I say, yes, please, smart, creepy Google, help me do the things. If you're like, no, that's weird, turn it off. It's all good. It's all personal. And then nudges are super awesome. Hey, you haven't replied to this and they sent this 5 days ago. You might want to look at this. Oh, thanks, Google. I appreciate that. Smart reply. It can kind of prompt you. Hey, here's what it sounds like you might want to start writing. And then you just hit tab and it fills it in for you. Do you want your messages automatically marked as read immediately? After 1 second, 3 seconds, 20 seconds? Never. You manually have to mark it as read. Do you care? I try to keep that window long because in my brain, read message is like done, handled. I don't have to think about it anymore. So if it's automatically marking emails as read, I panic if it's really quick, like right after I open it. So again, personal preference. And then I would recommend you guys come down to signature. I love my signature. It's a nice way to have kind of a polished looking email without having to do this every time. A lot of people have them. I know they're very, very common, but if you don't, I would highly recommend, even if it's something as simple as fill in your name, your email, your phone number, whatever, like ways for families to get in touch with you or students or community members, whoever it may be. That way you don't have to think about it every time. Like, oh, I have to make sure I put this. I still sign all my emails, thanks, comma, Jessie. That's just my thing. But after that, it always says Mrs. Jessie Gerbata. So if you're interested, I have a little resource to show you in Canva if you want it to look nice and cute, but it doesn't have to. And you can have more than one. So I have, this is like if I'm composing a new email, I want it to look big and nice and pretty and fancy. If I'm replying to you, I just need it to say Mrs. Gerbata. It's tiny, like the little picture small. Doesn't have to look as fancy because I've already had a conversation with you. I'm replying at this point. And then you can choose down here kind of how that works. And then do you want to see a preview of the messages? And do you want to set vacation reminders? So I have mine usually at summertime or when I was out with my kids when they were little. I had it like on maternity leave and it just directed people like, I'm currently out. Please reach out to this person for this person for this. And then I didn't have to think about it because this is auto responding to every single email I get. If you're going to turn on your vacation responder, I would recommend do not check this box and do not check this box because you're going to want, I would think, everybody to know that you're not here, not just your contacts for people in RUSD. So just a heads up. And then please, if you adjust to any changes, scroll all the way down and click save. Gmail settings are one of the only ones that don't autosave. So if you adjusted anything, this will not be grayed out. It will be black writing, clickable. Please click that to save your changes. Okay, that should be the Gmail settings. Let me just double check. I didn't miss anything. No, we're good. We did that. We talked about labels already. All right, so then it's just chat and meet. I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes if you are interested. I would recommend head over to Canva. And once it logs you in, if you were to search email signature, it brings up a ton of options. So if you're looking for a refresher, kind of update the way your emails look, and you don't feel like making one from scratch, there are a ton of options. I would highly recommend go through, adjust it, get it the way you like it, and then you're going to save it as a picture. So let's say this is the one I was going to do, customize. I'm going to say this is, of course it doesn't fit. Oh, well, this is a tester. Share. And then when you go to download, I would save it as a PNG and download. And then when you're in your email and you're like, oh, I want to add this signature, create. I'm not actually going to use this, so I'm making sure I'm telling myself it's a tester. And then if you click right here on picture, you should be able to go into your computer and find that PNG you just downloaded. Open. And now there is my new signature. Okay, so if you are interested, take a couple minutes. I'm going to grab a quick drink of water and then pause for a second. If you guys want to ask any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. Sounds all right. So the last thing is just looking at chat. So chat lives over here on the left if you're in Gmail. So if you click into chat, you'll see a couple things. So you will see all the chats that you're currently a part of. You'll notice these are names of people. And then this one says Frosh Focus. So this is actually a space. It's not a chat. And I'll kind of show you what that is. But you can see over here the people you've been talking to. You have your spaces. If you wanted to start a new chat, you're like, oh, I need to message my next door neighbor teacher, but they're not on here, or my boss or my whoever. You can just start typing someone's name. I'm going to use Jennifer. And then I'm going to say start chat. If I want it with more than one of us, I can add more than one of us. And notice Google's really smart. Hey, you've already chatted with this person. Here's your thread. And notice Google's really creepy smart. Hey, she's in a meeting until 5:30 today. Oh, okay, maybe I don't want to chat her right now. Never mind. And I can just exit. If you wanted to start a space, so like that's what this is. This is the freshman teachers on campus, just so we can kind of keep in touch with people. Create a space. What's it called? And then I can go in, create, and then who do I want to be part of the space? And what it looks like is this. So it's sort of like a chat, but it's a whole bunch of us in one. And it has this really cool thing where you can see shared files and links. So things that we've kind of given to each other all lives here. So it's a little more organized. You don't have to just scroll back through kind of the never ending stream. And then if there's any tasks for the space to work on, that shows here as well. So again, that's in Gmail. On the left-hand side, chat. If you click in it, it takes you like to that chat area. Oops, sorry. And then if you wanted, you can see, here's your home screen. I want to text this person. Okay, the meeting, so I'm not going to text her, but you can chat back and forth. And these are kind of like instant messages. Okay,